What's happening, people, and welcome to the Rambling Dad podcast. Today, I am joined by Reece Mcewan. What's happening, brother? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. So, are you down in Wales at the moment?
Yeah, I'm in Wales just now. Yeah.
I've seen you post that on Instagram before. I was like, mate, I think you're almost Welsh more than you're Scottish these days.
Yeah, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but the Scottish Welshman.
The
Scottish
Welshman.
I've been down quite a lot. I think I've been down 5 weeks out the last 10, basically every second week since the middle of January. To be fair, so
Right, okay.
be carrying a Welsh flag out as well as a Scottish flag.
Are you gonna do it? Yeah.
No. I wouldn't want to seem like an imposter, but I do feel part of the Welsh family. So
not at all, mate. Not at all.
When I fought in Cardiff, I was like, home from home. I'm the home fighter.
Yeah, that's it. You got the home advantage. Like I say to you, man, I live in Scotland. I've stayed here now. A year. I do this all the time. I forget 12 years, 13 years, or something like that. And everyone's like adopted Scotsman now, even though I don't sound like one. But when I go home, everyone's like, "Oh, you sound like you're Scottish," and I'm like, "No, I don't." Like nowhere near it at all.
I think the reason why I can't carry a Welsh flag is that Cage Warriors made me speak Welsh in the Cardiff card, and they put it on their social media, and I was an absolute. I was so embarrassed. I think I would get burned if I walked through like the airport in Wales for how bad that was.
Have you got any followers?
It's trying, isn't it?
Have you picked some more up? Have you got any more followers now? Let's see what you've got.
No, I don't know any Welsh, but I've definitely taken some phrases away back home. So my fiance's definitely picked up on it. I'm like, yeah, well, we just need to do it.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it is. You know what I mean? That's when I go home and with all the D's and the T's and all the rest of it, and everyone's looking at me like, what? And then I might go and bring that Ben. And like, what do you mean bring that Ben? I might just fucking bring that through here and shut up and bring me it now. You know what I mean?
I don't realise like the Scottish, a lot of things that like Scottish people say, like you always refer to something as like a wee thing or like a wee walk or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's when you get picked up on it, you're like, oh, I realise how bad my vocabulary actually is, that we just kind of make up words.
The word like, yeah, I mean, that's another one that you say a lot up here as well.
Or I say like use a lot, words that don't even make sense. But yeah, it's funny, but yes, it's funny. I'm overthinking everything I'm saying now.
I know, yeah, mate. I'm sorry, I should have said that one.
No, it's fine.
Don't worry about it, mate. Just keep rocking and rolling and saying what you're saying. Don't worry about it at all. Like I'm kind of like Mike Bisping as well. I always say, you know what I mean, and I think that's a Northwest thing. Like I always say, you know what I mean. Someone said to me before, I was like, do you know how many times you say that on the podcast? I'm like, well, you know what I mean. What do you want me to do?
You see, when you listen to a podcast and you're like, that person said this so many times, and then when you're actually doing the interview, in your head, you're like, I've said this, I can't say it again, and you say it.
I know, right?
But honestly, like, see, there's parts of Scotland that the accents are crazy. Like some places in Scotland, you're like, how have you even made these words up and whatnot? I'm sure they say that about me as well, to be fair.
I don't know, man. Like, see, moving up here, central Scotland, like, so I stayed just outside of Stirling. I stayed in Stirling for like 6 or 7 years there as well, whilst I've been up here. Centre Scotland, Glasgow, Edinburgh, they're all easy, man. See, like when some Fifers, some folk, like Aberdeen, you know what I mean? You're just like, bro, what are you even saying to me right now? Like some of them are wild.
To be fair, like some like Scottish like slang or like common people, like even where I'm from, I'm like, even if I say a word out of turn, like my fiance's a teacher, she's like, spell that word for me, and I'm like, okay, you've got me.
Got me. Fair. Like you beat me on that one. That's cool.
And I'm like, she's like, nope, spell it. I'm like, I need to.
No.
It's obviously, as I say, like, I'm in Wales just now, like, and I'm having a great time. Staying in the gym, staying away, isolating myself away, and when people always ask me like, oh, you need to win your fight, and I'm like, do you think I'm going down travelling, staying in a gym in Wales just for the sake of doing it? Like, I'm making the sacrifices necessary to be the best fighter I can and get that win in the 20th of April.
That's it, mate. What, we're about 3 weeks out now? Yeah, just about.
Yeah, 3 weeks on Saturday, 3 weeks tomorrow I'll be in, 3 weeks Saturday a fight, collect another win. Cameron
Else as well, man. Or Elsa, however you ever say his name. Game opponent, just left the UFC. Obviously, had losses against Kyler Phillips and Arika Wang as well, you know what I mean? So he's got the levels. He's made it to the UFCs, you know what I mean? He's got the skills up there, so it's a good name, a good opponent to be going up against.
Yeah, it's a great opponent. As he was in the UFC, thought he was good enough to be signed. He never lost to rubbish guys either. He lost to good guys.
Yeah.
And he was kind of in those fights. He's been about a long time. Like, I'm not trying to name drop Paddy, but like, he submitted Paddy back in the day. Like, when I know he was young, but that's how long he's been in the game for. He's got some big wins over some big names as well. So he's way more experienced than me. He's older than me. And he's been in the game like probably he's fighting before I was even starting to train. So it's a great name for me, a great fight, a great challenge. He poses a lot of threats, and when I seen that name, I was excited to accept the fight. So, and I'm sure again, any guy who's been sacked from their job, which he was, will come out with a point to prove. And I'm sure, as I've seen on social media, that he's training in Las Vegas, so he's taking the training camp very seriously, obviously, and I'm glad. I want the best version of him possible. I want to come out on top against the best Cameron else that anybody's ever seen, and show that this is the performance. If I can outclass a guy that was in the UFC, like, this is how good I truly am, and that's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm training for in the 20th of April. I'm training as if this is a UFC fight, as if this is a UFC. We've signed a UFC contract and I'm fighting the UFC. That's how I'm training in my head.
That's what you want. That's what you want, mate. And you're in there, Shore MMA, aren't you? I mean, so you've got all the experience. Shore MMA are on absolute fire this last like year or so, mate. Like the level that they're putting out at the moment is absolutely incredible. So you're surrounded by the right team to get yourself in that mindset, anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I say this all the time. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but obviously I can't emphasize enough how good the gym is. Obviously from from an outside point of view, I was a fan of the fighters and I was a fan of the gym. And probably, if Richard showed back at my message, it was probably mega cringy. I just put all the cards on the table and says, I watch Jack, I watch Brett, I really admire them, I want to come and train with them. But when you look deeper to that and you look at the coaches and the level of training partners, the amount of bodies they've got on the mat and how nice everybody is, the environment is next to none. And honestly, see, for my weight class, I'm obviously being biased, but I've picked this gym for a reason. And I don't think you'll find a harder or better mat for my weight class in the UK, and I would even go as far as say in Europe. And obviously, everybody's got their own opinion, but as I say, I chose this gym for a reason, and thankfully they opened their doors for me and made me part of the family, and I'm absolutely delighted. But Cameron Elsh is not as good as Jack Shore. He's not as good as Brett Johns. He's, in my opinion, he's not as good as Rory Evans and the other guys that I've been training with, Scott Pedersen, like I train with every second week. The level on the mat is crazy, and the challenges that I'm facing in the gym, the Cameron Elsh is not as good as that. However, none of that matters when it comes into the fight because everybody's got a puncher's chance.
No, that's it, mate. Yeah, that's it. Once the cage door shuts, that's what matters, isn't it? Really, it's not about like I don't mean it's not about any of the preparation that goes into it. Of course, it is. Like if you don't prepare for a fight, then you're not going to be ready for the fight. But at the end of the day, it's whoever's night it is on the night, really, once you get in there, isn't it? But
yeah, and anyone can bring you down to maybe you might be levels above them, but they can bring you down to that level in one round, and everybody's up 5 minutes. Honestly, anyone will look world class for 5 minutes. It's how you look at over the course of 15 minutes and round 2 and round 3. And I think that's maybe been Cameron Elsh's downfall. So whether he can get over that mental hurdle or he can get the conditioning to the last round 2 and round 3, we'll see.
Mate, he's going to have to get that over that mental hurdle of the Scottish crowd as well. When's the last time Cage Warriors came to Scotland now?
2013, I think. Owen Roddy and Wilson Hayes headlined, and at the time, again, I didn't even know about MMA, but it was 2012. I'm not sure. I don't want to be wrong in that one. They had like 7, 8 Dinky Ninja Fight Team fighters on it. Paul McVeigh, James Dillon, John Calderwood, like all those, all the OGs of the grip house and higher level. Like they basically stacked out the card in the Kelvin. I think it might be. No, it's good.
Yeah, you say that you weren't even aware of MMA at that point. When was it that you started getting into it? Like,
no, sorry, I was aware of MMA. Like that wasn't right, but I wasn't aware of like Cage Warriors to the
right. Okay, cool.
So like, I didn't know like the UFC, but I was a UFC. You know, like you think UFC stuff like that's that's how educated I was in the sport. But now obviously I know in hindsight, but so obviously a huge thing for Scottish MMA. I think they've got like 20 fights in like 15, 16 pro fighters in Scotland on it throughout the card. That's incredible. And then hopefully there's a Cage Warriors Academy in Scotland, and it's kind of got the country booming. I feel like maybe because I'm at the heart of it, I feel that more. But everybody's talking about it. And Scotland as a nation, we should be completely behind that. And I'm all for like every Scottish fighter I'll be rooting for on that card. I hope they get the win. I hope the gym's successful, and I hope we all grow together. And then I know when there was a cool wee moment in Newcastle where the hotel had ran out of hot water, no hot water the morning of the weigh-ins, which is a stress. And so jumped in the sauna, and it was next to Chris Bungard and Aidan Stevens, and it was like, I remember Chris Bungard said something like, "Oh, look at the three Scots like cutting weight together," and I thought, it's a team here, like it's a good unity. We're kind of like, there's a lot of togetherness, and I think that's what Cage Warriors Braehead will probably feel like as well, but obviously to a greater extent.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking about that to somebody the other day about like national pride, because I think it was an American I was talking to, actually, another guy that like creates content at Mom's Basement. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He does interviews with quite a lot of fighters and things. Yeah, so I was speaking to him and we were talking about like national pride and stuff, and I said, bro, I've never met any nation that has more pride in their athletes than Scotland. Like 100% you rally behind them. And I had to mention Cage Warriors Newcastle as well, and I was like, 50% plus of that crowd. I was there as well. I was like 50% plus of that crowd was Scottish fans. Like the place was absolutely bad. And I mean, like, obviously I'm excited to be going and work in Octagon, but unfortunately it landed on the same night because I'm gutted I'm going to end up missing this card now, because I was just like, mate.
That is a very cool thing. Like Newcastle felt like a home show. It genuinely did.
Yeah.
And like, I'm making a joke because Scott Malone's down at SMMA right now as well. And it's cool, like, because he's fighting on the same card as well. And again, like you said, it's cool because when you meet someone else from like the same country, it's sort of like in another place, maybe on holiday, or obviously we don't work and training and stuff, or on a fight card. Or I remember years ago down in Manchester in a jiu-jitsu match. Shout out to Neil Lair for this. I remember him saying, like, I think he like cornered me or helped me, because he's like, we're down here together, like we'll be one nation. That was cool. At the time, I thought that was very. He's from a different gym. He was a pro fighter. I thought it was cool. I got support. So I just said there's a lot of togetherness, and Newcastle felt like that Scottish show, but Braehead Arena will be crazy, to be fair.
Oh man, it's going to be nuts, mate. It's going to be absolutely fucking mental. Honestly, I'm gutted I'm not going to be there. Like, but so whilst we're on Newcastle, let's just talk a little bit about it. So obviously that first round, mate, that was some heavy damage, some heavy elbows. Like how are you feeling going into that second round? Because you just bit down in your mouth guard, mate, and you battled through 5 rounds in that one, like.
Honestly, like genuine raw emotions. Like after it happened, and I looked up. Obviously, I probably said this before interviews, so if somebody's watched, sorry for repeating myself. But I was like, "Is it raining in here?" And then I looked down. It was my head. I thought, "Oh, that can't be good." So I went back to the corner, and I just remember Mark Goddard looking at me. I thought, if the referee's looking at me, this is not good. And I just kept saying to myself, I was looking away from him, like, I don't want to make any eye contact, and I thought this fight's going to get stopped. And I was just saying in my head, please, not like this. Do not take this fight away from me. I had no idea how my face looked. I just felt the blood. I felt sticky. I felt grim, to be fair.
Yeah.
So I went from this fight's going to get stopped to right seconds out. I thought, oh shit, like, oh, this fight's going on. And then I lost my composure, which is an experience. And I says, right, I just need to get a hold of him. If I get a hold of him, I can control him and I don't take any more damage. So I lose my composure, timing's off. I have a nice shot, and then I end up on my back again, and I thought, oh, here we go. This is the way the fight's going to go. And I regained composure in round 3. And again, silly decision making from me in round 4 to continue to grapple when not like condition tired, but just like physically, like physiologically, like you've kind of went through that roller coaster of being up, down as the fight getting stopped, or what's happening. I'm bleeding. Like, how bad am I bleeding? I can't see. Like, my vision's blurred. That's a fight though. Like when I hear myself say that, it's as if it's not meant to happen. Like, that's meant to happen.
Yeah.
It's like, but obviously, like that's invaluable. That experience. Again, one of the coaches in Wales was like, "This is the first time you've been cut. Like, the next time you get cut, like the first time I was cut, I lost composure. Next time you'll be like, it's just blood." And I remember like a few weeks into training in the new year, somebody said, "Oh, your ear's bleeding." I was like, "So." And I thought in my head, like, I'm just like, I just need to get on with it. Like, so what? Like, I went on for 20 minutes, but my head split open. But at the end of the day, like, I wasn't the winner that night, and I was the runner up. So when I come away from the fight, I don't think about the blood. I don't think about the cut. I think about what led me to get cut, what led me to get elbowed, and the decisions I made after that, and losing my composure, and that ultimately cost me the fight, and that's what I care about. So my fiance definitely, she's like, she doesn't care about the technical error. She cares about the face. She cares about the stitches. She's like, we'll need to get some makeup on you and all that. But as I say, like, you do realise, see, when you're in the trenches like that, you realise how much. I don't want to say how much the sport means to you, but how much you are a competitor. Because I was like, you're not. I'm going to stay in this fight and keep looking for a path to victory, even if the fight's slipping. I am not getting finished. I'm not. If I lose, I'm going out on my shield tonight. And I'm very careful when I say that, because sometimes people can interpret it as he accepted the loss. I didn't. I'm staying in the fight to try and get a victory and try and finish him somehow. And obviously, decisions after that I made that was poor. But credit to Liam, was a great opponent, and I take that experience on to the next bout in the training camp.
Seems like you've handled it very well, and you've come away and looked at it in the right way as well. You know what I mean?
Obviously, I had a lot of messages off, like, maybe people in other gyms, or even Liam's gym and stuff like that, being like, kind of like a backhanded compliment, but like, didn't think you had that in you, or like you've got a heart. Like, I don't mean that disrespectful to them. I just mean like,
no, 100%.
There's a lot of heart. You're a true warrior. What a fighter you are. I never thought that was you made that. You'd have fell when others fallen. And as much as I'm like, oh, thanks, but I don't want to be known as the best guy, and I don't want to be known as the tough guy. I want to be known as the best guy. And for me, I want to go through that adversity and win.
Yeah.
When you have that adversity and you lose, the competitive part of me just doesn't think, oh, that's great, I'm tough. I know I'm tough. I know I'm mentally strong. I know I really want this. I know I'm very competitive. I've got a chip on my shoulder if somebody gets something on me. So like, that isn't like reassurance to me. It's just like rubbing it in that I've lost. I know that sounds a wee bit rude.
No, not at all, mate. It's down to interpretation at the end of the day, and it depends on how soon that message kind of comes after the moment as well, and where your head's still at when you're thinking about it. So no, not at all, mate. You know what I mean? Like, you bang on with that one there, to be honest. Like, you went, that was some heavy adversity to go through in that opening round. Like you say, first time you've been cut, and like I said a minute ago, it was the right mindset of thinking about it in a way of, right, oh, lost him for a sec, and he's back. There we go. Right mindset of thinking about it, like, going out on your shield. Personally, I don't see that as a way of somebody thinking, oh, you're accepting defeat. Like, there's curling up and there's accepting defeat, and then there's going out on your shield of going, yeah, fuck you. Like, nah, like, you ain't getting me like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you see, even if you, like, I remember at the time, ultimately, like, I look at what led me to get elbowed. I look at losing composure. There's so many technical things. Again, I don't want to go into details. My coaches have went into details about it and how we go about that. And ultimately, the decision I made, I've been faced with them in the gym, and I've not made the same decision. So that's progress, and that's improvement. Take away the elbows, take away the blood, take away the performance, because there was things that separated me from beating Liam that night. And you can say what you want about skill level and stuff, but it's about who wins on the night. And like, for me, like, to fight that way for 20-25 minutes, I've got that in my arsenal now. I've got that experience banked. And even if you look at like what Liam done to Hernandez, a 9-1 vet, like a really good competitor, he broke him. He absolutely broke him. And again, Liam's really, really good at that, and that's why I need to make adjustments. So if I ever get that chance to fight him again, like, we won't have the same fight again, because he'll make adjustments too. But that's sport, that's competition, and I need to close that gap from being number 2 to number 1.
Yeah, and that's MMA, innit? Yeah, I mean, you live and you learn, and it's just all about growth at the end of the day. You two shared a nice little moment after the fight, anyway, didn't you? In the cut room, you know what I mean? The two.
Yeah, I think so. I made that again. Another thing from that fight. First time I've been cut. First time I'm talking in the fight. I was enjoying it. I was enjoying myself. Like, I really did take that moment, and I took everything in. And afterwards, the first words I said to him was, "Go be a superhero to your kids." And the reason why I said that was because, like, these titles, especially a world title, you get to go home and be a superhero to your kid. You know, I don't have children, but like, even my amateur titles or a medal, like my granda, like, this just popped in my head actually. My granda gave me, he used to be a referee, and he gave me a medal, and I've still got the medal. I've still got the trophy. I thought it was so cool. So now he gets to go and be a world champion to his kids, and and hopefully gets to keep the belt, and his kids get to see that all the time. Because I know if I have kids, I would have done it for my kids. I'd have done that. So it was the first thing that came in my head, and that's a great moment that I hope that he had with his family.
That's it, man. I mean, you even had like not empathy, but you had the emotional piece in there as well. Even just thinking about that, how like even thinking about something back to your own childhood and thinking how that made you feel. I suppose it would be empathy to then be thinking about how his kids would feel knowing he's going to go home with that belt. So
yeah, and that's motivation. That's motivation for me, like, because ultimately, as high as his high would be, like at that flip land, I said that's how low I am. Like walking about the next day, face swollen, people asking how your eye is, how your face is, how did the last fight go, blah blah blah. You're like, again, you need to face these losses like straight up. Like I never used to be a good loser when I was younger, and I couldn't even lose a game of FIFA without turning the PlayStation off.
Launching your pad to something.
Honestly,
I know, man.
I remember just temper tantrums. And I think that kind of made me like that. That's no way to live a life, and you've got to deal. Like there and then at that moment, I've trained so hard for that moment. If I win, I need to take it all in. I need to embrace my wins, but also if I lose, I need to embrace it, because again, took a picture of myself after that night just in the changing room. And I think somebody said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to take a picture because I'm going to remember how I feel right now. Like I don't want to feel that way again, and that will motivate me to go to the gym. That will motivate me to make the adjustments. That will motivate me to make sure that this is not repeated. Like mistakes are okay. I made mistakes. I'm a human being." Maybe in a big stage, but I will not make them again. And if I make them again, then that's on me.
That's just showing your maturity level as well, being able to face that. As like you say, you had that as a kid, but you still get a lot of adults that are like that. They just can't face things and they just kick off and just lose the shit. And it's like, own it, mate. Take it as what it is, and then move on.
At the same time, right? At the same time, in the gym, if somebody taps and takes it down, I'm like, but that's healthy. Like, that's definitely healthy. You need that to be a competitor. Like obviously, you've seen how I'm dealing with that to him who beat me. But deep down, I'm like, I hate you so much right now.
I know, mate. I know.
That's like, what point of that? Like, why would you be a bad loser? That's his moment. See if it's my moment. Like, I'm on top of that cage, bell, lift, all that
screaming.
Stuff. So, yeah, screaming, and you're doing it in front of your opponent's face. So, you've got to be respectful and humble in victory and defeat.
Yeah,
I think.
No, 100%. Like without a competitive streak in these fighters, what would be the body point? Yeah, I mean, if you didn't really want to win it, would you try as hard as you should do?
Yeah, and afterwards, we've just shared the cage for 25 minutes. Like anyone you fought with, you've got that respect.
Yeah,
you went for each other and tried to knock each other. That's why if he didn't elbow me in the head, I would do it to him. I'd try to elbow him. I'm trying to knock him out. And I go in there and accept that, and it's the same with Cameron Else. I know he's coming out to kill me, he's coming out to hurt me. I'm coming out to outclass him and outwork him. I don't care about damage, I don't care about hurt. I'm just going to. I want my hand to be raised, and I want her to show that there's levels to the game, and that's where my head's at just now. Moving on from the last performance, and putting on an absolute masterclass on the 20th of April.
And so far, mate, you're looking sharp as shit. If I'm honest with you, you're in there. I've seen you've been working on your striking a little bit more than what we've seen. You've been doing really well with that, mate.
Maybe an element of the last fight, that I was shooting for the sake of shooting a takedown, and my striking was good, but my striking is definitely a lot better than it is now, and we'll see if I'm going to show this off this fight, or we'll show it in a future fight. But the skills have been banked, and it's not fight by fight. The skills have been banked forever, and I'm continuing to grow that. It's definitely been the biggest improvement in my game. I'm very, very excited to show that off, but not just for this fight, for future fights. Who knows? This fight could just be over in a minute. You might not get to see anything, or it could be a 50-minute masterclass. So we'll see what happens on the night. But thanks for your kind words, and obviously if you're noticing that through social media, then I guess I'm doing something right. But there's so much work that's going on behind the scenes that nobody will see, and that's the improvements that I'm most proud of.
Yeah, like you say, whether it's a minute or 15 minutes, it's MMA. You need to improve your all-round game, and from the snippets that you're putting out there. It's about bringing it all together. That's what I've spoke about with other fighters in the past as well. And they said, yeah, it's about your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's about your wrestling, it's about your striking, it's about this, but it's about how do you bring that all together and utilize it in an MMA fight.
Yeah, blending it all together, and ultimately, like, if you want to talk about the last performance, like, there's nobody that could watch my last performance. This is not a victory, by the way. This is just expected, and say, "Oh, Reece will give up. Reece will give up." Yeah, but on the flip side, if you are a fighter like some out there who have quit in fights, who have turned over, you know in your head that you've quit and you could have done more. So if you're one of those fighters that maybe I'm fighting on April 20th, you've got to ask yourself, like, have I been in positions where I've quit? Because if quitting's a habit, then you're coming up against the wrong guy. And that's not trying to be cheeky, or that's not trying to talk crap or anything, but you're not going to make me quit. Like, you're just not going to make me quit in that cage. You're not going to break me. But if people have broken you in the past, then that's a habit. And we'll see.
Yeah. Like I said before, I mean, behaviors, I think that's what everything that life's about. Behaviors, habits, and discipline, and just making sure that you're nailing every single one of them in it.
Yeah, how do you get over your own mental hurdle that you've quit before in fights, that you've turned over, that you're winning a fight and then you just give up? Like,
Yeah.
how do you get over that? You can't get over that. If you've repeated that mistake over and over and over again, like, that's on you. That's what I mean about mistakes. Like, I've made technical errors in fights, like that you would watch my fights and say there's gaps, but I'm trying to fix those gaps every single day in the gym. And if I do make the same mistake again in the gym, I'm killing myself about it. And coaches are shouting at me, like, make sure that I don't do it again. So that bugs me. But mentally, you'll never break me in there. Yeah, and that's not a habit that I have to address. You could have all the skills in the world, but if your heart's not in it, you're going to give up. Like, that's what I mean. Everybody's a great fighter for 5 minutes. How are you for 10, 15, 20, 25? That's when you see people break, like the Gittins fight. You've seen Hernandez break. You've seen Gittins wear on him. You've seen Gittins, like, take over. And Hernandez won the first round for a recent kind of performance, but it's that famous saying, like, oh, they're a world champion for 1 round or 2 rounds. So we will see.
Mate, can't wait. It's going to be absolutely epic.
I finished training. It's been a hard day. Now I'm buzzing with adrenaline.
Sorry, man, you got it running through your head and you can't wait. That's a good thing. But yeah, I mean, you're going to peak. You got what I say, 3 weeks out. You're coming up towards that peak moment now as well, mate. So you're going to get there.
Yeah, and training, I feel very good, like, extremely good. Coaches are noticing it. I'm noticing it. People around me are noticing it. I'm in a great place right now. But we talk about my career as a whole. Like, I'm nowhere near my peak. And
not career as a whole. Training for this camp. You know what I mean?
In my training camp, like, I've done the right thing. Like, in terms of after the last fight, I had a development block, like a strict development block, not just going to the gym and just what am I getting better at. Like, literally dissecting my last performance and looking at the mistakes that I made, every mistake that I made, everything I've done well, trying to make it better. And now when I'm sparring and I'm training, I honestly, this is not a good mindset to think, but I'm like, if I am approaching my skill set, not the way that I'm sparring for the Gittins fight, it was a completely different fight, because realistically I should have, like, had that approach. Like, if I had that skill set going into the last fight, it'd have been a completely different fight. But that's what each performance and each fight is about. But right now, like, I feel good, and again, people are noticing these changes and noticing these differences, not just in your skill set, but the way that you're sparring and the way that you're approaching your training. So that's good for me.
No, wicked, mate. Wicked, like I say, correct mindset. Anyway, like, do you ever had to the point where you get, I don't know how to word it really, but you focus on yourself, you know what I mean? You know what you want to do, you know how you're training, you know what you need to improve, what you've done well, what you need to improve on that didn't go so well when you're making that game plan. But did it ever be a thing, like a factor where you look at, how's he doing that? And you're focusing maybe too much on other people than you were on yourself, or maybe too much on a previous opponent or on a current opponent before you were going into a fight?
Yeah, in the past as an amateur, I remember putting an opponent on a pedestal where I was striking with him again, and I was like, he's not as good as I thought he was. Oh no, or I was like, I remember saying, striking's not as good as I thought he was. I'm doing great here. Whereas the right mindset would be, like, at that time, the mistake that I made, it was a comparative, like, how good am I compared to him?
Yeah.
Whereas realistically, it should be, the striking's not as good as it is. Let's take over and let's win this. And then So yeah, I've definitely made that mistake in the past. I've not made that mistake since because I'm a big believer in you can't keep making the same mistake over and over again. But obviously I do have to look at my opponent's strengths and their weaknesses, but ultimately the majority of my camp has got to be on me. But there's a lot of it that goes in studying and game planning. I think you'd be naive not to do that. Something that maybe I've neglected in the past, but you've got to familiarise yourself with your opponent. Like I think I watch my opponent's fights just to see their habits and see how their mind frame is and how they deal with adversity and how they deal with exchanges. Is that hand dropping or do they get a wee bit lazy? What submission do they like to go for, etc. Or how do they like to defend takedowns? Like looking at those kind of film and approaching the fight for that style and adapting your style to that certain fight because you need to fight different for each opponent. I can't just go and fight Cameron else the way I fought Gittins, especially when I was performing. I can't fight. If I fight Gittins again, I wouldn't fight him the same way, and he wouldn't fight me the same way. Maybe it would.
No.
Maybe it would. That's why
I don't know. That rematch is there definitely. I mean, I think everybody would love to see it too, but
I think he deserves to be in the UFC. He's got a great resume, and I would like obviously I would like for him to go and take that next step in his career. I think when you win the title, you shouldn't even have to defend the title.
No.
That should be you. That should be your golden ticket to the UFC. You've seen bantamweights in the past, like Kalen Lochran. As soon as he won the title, he was off. And Wayne's has got a much better, impressive resume on that than Kalen. So we'll see what happens.
I think Kalen's fighting this weekend as well, isn't he?
Yeah. Again, that's no dig at Kalen Lochran. It's just like more complimentary towards Liam Gittins. But everything's always due to timing, and timing is very, very important in this sport. So,
and I think a lot of people see it as well with Cage Warriors. That is the path to the UFC for most UK fighters. You know what I mean? It is literally the get in there, build up your career, build up your experience, build up your skills, and it's probably the quickest way to get to it as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I spoke before about me closing that gap between second and first. I've not done it in a fighting sense yet. I've not done that in a performance sense. So what I'm saying right now is kind of all chat, all talk. But in terms of my skill level and the decision making, I've closed that gap between 2 and 1. I don't need an opponent. I don't need to go and fight Liam Gittins again to prove that. I've proved that within myself. I just need to go and improve that in my next few performances. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but over the course of my career, you'll see that growth. And as shout out to Richard Shore, as he says, Cage Warriors is your apprenticeship for the bigger stages. And there's levels to the game. If you are a Cage Warriors fighter, you have done you're competing in the best show in Europe, and you should pat yourself in the back. But there's one level above that, and that's the world class, world elite promotions. And that's where I feel that I belong. That's where I feel I'm trying to work towards. So I'm trying to close that gap between a top European fighter to a world class fighter. I feel that I've closed that gap with the mistakes that I've made, but I've got to go out there and show that in performance, and that's why Cameron Nelson is a great opponent to do that.
Yeah, mate.
He's been at the world stage.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, he's been right there, like we said before. He's been at that level. Unfortunately, the results never went his way. But
yeah, of course.
Getting a win, but that's it. And Cage Warriors before that. Yeah, I mean, Brave, a couple of other places. He's got experience across multiple promotions. You know what I mean? So a win over Cameron here. Yeah, I mean, could put you in that line for a title contention again.
Yeah, of course. Easily. And yeah, I just want to stay active and busy as possible. Obviously, I was kind of hoping Scotland would be in March, but Scotland first card of the year, and then after this, we'll take each fight by fight. As soon as I signed to Cage Warriors, it was always about the belt, fight belt, just chatting. Even after my second fight, I think after my first fight, I was calling for the belt. I've had the title shot. Now it's about fight by fight, performance by performance, each day by day, and I just want to try and stay active and travel about maybe. Now, do
you listen to BYM, the Believe You Me podcast at all? Mike Besbing's podcast.
On and off.
Yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned that there about the way that you were looking at it, going from title fight to fight to title fight. And it was Anthony Smith. He was just talking about that as well. I think it was in an episode this week, maybe on Monday they might have dropped it. And he was saying that's how he used to go, right, I'll get this one, then I'll fight that guy. This guy's going to fight this guy, and this will line this up, and this is how this could work. And that's how he was like, and I was always thinking about that end goal. And he was like, and I was doing it wrong. He was like, I should have just been going, dude in front of me. next dude in front of me. Not even thinking about that guy until you got through this one.
No, of course. And even out with Cage Warriors, like before I got signed, I think even before I fought Sam Spencer, I was watching like Aiden James and Kingsley Crawford. Like I want the winner. I asked for the winner. I asked for Crawford before I even fought Sam Spencer, and then I fought Crawford, and I was like, right, who's next? And you're eyeing up the division. You're watching every bantamweight. And then somebody comes out that you didn't expect, and then it's like you win 4 fights in a row, and you're like, title. Who's it against? It's against this guy. You're chasing that guy. It's not that guy anymore, right? Who is it? And it's like all about who, but it should just be about you, without sounding so poetic. But that's
that
not
goes
a
back to
mistake.
what I was saying before.
Yeah, that's a journey that I'm on because ultimately I'm signed to Cage Warriors and I can fight anyone. Like, I would never have thought Cameron Ellis was going to be an opponent. I genuinely didn't think. And it may not even be him. Like, he might get injured. He might pull out. I expect that with every opponent who trains so hard, he might pull out, he might withdraw. I'm not got my eyes on anyone in the division. I'm just thinking about me. As I say, closing that gap between number 2 and number 1. Like, why am I not number 1? What do I need to do to get to number 1? I'm closing those. I'm making those changes in the gym. My job is to do it on fight night. And I want to do that over and over and over again until it comes to the point where it's like Reece's, if it's a title or whatever, like he is that world class fighter now. You've proven that you're world class, and this is for me a great guy to do that against.
Yeah, 100%, mate. So how much longer are you still in Wales then?
Until tomorrow.
So are you going home tomorrow?
Yeah,
right,
I fly
okay.
home tomorrow, so I come down Sunday
Flight went all right this time, yeah?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. This is the first time I came down this year. Not only did I get diverted to Paris.
That was wild, that, mate.
I ended up meeting an Olympic judo, a Scottish Olympic judoka in the hotel. He was asking me about my ears. So that was cool. And then on the way home, I missed my gate by literally 1 minute. They wouldn't let me on the flight. I swear it. And then since then, all the flights have been okay. So no, I'm not even going to talk about it anymore because I still got a flight to get tomorrow.
I don't want to jinx it.
Yeah,
that was some wild fucking wins, that though, mate. Jesus Christ! So when you said it, I was like, "What the fuck's going on?" Next minute, trampolines are flying about in the back garden, and that I was like, "Jesus Christ!"
And I had my earphones in, and there was like a bit of like noise and ruckus and stuff. I was like, "What's going on there?" We're going to Paris, right? But there was people who never had passports and stuff like that, so they couldn't get in the country.
Exactly.
Then,
yeah, I mean, they were just flying like fucking in the country, just going, "Oh, I've got my driving license. What am I going to do with that?"
Yeah, exactly. And then there was no Euro chargers, so then no joke, I had my phone was out of battery, and then I know my fiance, I know she would worry, so I was on my iPad on the airport, Paris airport, messaging on TikTok being like, "I'm okay," because she's like, she's obviously tracking my flight, and she's like, "What the hell's going on?" And then my best pal's winding me up, and then they've created a group chat to like just wind me up. I'm like, this is like overstimulating me, like. And then I got a Euro charger, but it was plugged into the TV, and mental. It's actually crazy that was only like 10 weeks ago.
Fucking nightmare. Is that it, mate? Seems like it was longer ago than that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely was something like that because I was 12 weeks out. I was 12 weeks out at the time, 13 weeks, and now I'm 3. So I was 9, 10 weeks ago, to be fair. Not that I get very meticulous about my fight camps. I can tell you where I was at what certain date and what way.
Exactly what time.
But no, it's flying here so much better. I drove the first time and it was a nightmare.
Whereabouts is Shore MMA in Wales?
Abertawari. I don't know.
What is
Do you know?
I know the word fucking. I don't even want to try and pronounce it, mate, because I'll absolutely butcher it. You know what I mean? But I don't. I know. I think I know where you mean. Like, but it's probably what 6 hours drive.
Well, technically from Scotland 6.5, but you need to stop every so often, don't you?
So so you're talking 7, 8, yeah.
And then driving and then going on to a mat like that. I remember I always say Brett Jones was on a psychologist when I came here. He said, "Don't worry, I know you're not this bad." Just tired. You're just nervous. I was like, "No, I can't feel my arms." He said, "No." Everybody's like, "No, it's fine." Like, I'm like, "Oh, like."
Get a night skip, you'll be sound when you get up the next day.
Oh my! They're like, "Yeah," and as the days are going on, they're like, "I told you were better," and I'm like, I feel like I need a shoulder to cry on here, but they were absolutely fine. I bet you know, they were like that. He's behind closed doors, like he's terrified. Ask him down again. I was like, he's around.
Was that your first time coming down? How many times have you been down there now?
Oh, I've been first thing I came down was the end of May 2022, and then
Oh shit! So it's been a couple of years then, yeah.
Yeah, 2 years, approaching 2 years.
Right.
And
Okay.
then ever since then, I've probably honestly, see if you average it, probably like at least once or twice a month. More so maybe in the last year. I came down for 10 days at times, weeks, and 5 days or 3 days, 4 days. I just come down as many times as I can. As soon as Richard Shore said I was always welcome, I'm sure he'd regret saying that now.
I had to give you a room in the gym to sleep in and everything. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, that's no joke. Like staying in the gym now as well. So again, it's probably like that. Oh, here we go. Like he's staying again. But obviously, it means a lot. Like for them to open their doors for me, and they've been nothing but great to me. They are like a home, a genuine home from home, like, and that family from. I feel like I've made a lot of good friends, from coming down here, and they've been huge for my career.
Yeah, it's family run. Do you know what I mean? So that's the vibe you'd kind of expect from them, like. And I think small town Wales, you're going to get that kind of camaraderie in there as well, where it's more of a brotherhood than individual people going into a gym in a city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not like some gyms that you can see they are a team of individuals. Whereas this team, like, and I've been around them at fight shows, they are a unit. Like everybody's there for one another. And even the first fight that I fought, I was only here like twice. All of them messaged me, like every single one of them messaged me. They all wanted me to do well, and I said like it's a very, very close gym and great environment. This could be the best gym in the world with a horrible environment. I wouldn't go back. But what made it so much better was the environment, and again, what always pops up to me is, and not to go on and on, but the first day I walked in, I was a bantamweight in Cage Warriors, and Josh Reed was a bantamweight in Cage Warriors. And I walked in headless chicken, like no idea what I'm doing. And I remember he went out of his way, showed me the gym, like here's reception, here's the changing room, get changed here, and then walk there. And I know that sounds small to a lot of people, but I know for a fact in other gyms they'd have been eyeing me up. And he never even sparred with me that night. He never even asked me for a round. Like, and I also thought that spoke volumes to like Josh and the culture that they've got. And again, when I was saying that night, like first night, I was like, I'm honestly not this bad. Like, I swear, guys, like they were like, no, we know, like you're fine, you're nervous. Just write these next few days off. Just make yourself at home. And I went home to my Airbnb that night, and I said, this place is for me. Like, adrenaline, full of adrenaline. Like,
yeah. Good vibes, mate. Good feeling good about it. That's it. You know what I mean? And
paying off. I've got sponsors who be like, I'm going to send you to America. I'm going to send you to Brazil. Let's trip to Thailand. 6 weeks in Thailand. I'm like, mate, just honestly, can you just book me a flight to Wales? Please. But,
yeah, that's amazing.
And like, there's been amazing highs, obviously, with the team. And there's been a few lows, like pulling out staph infection stuff, and they've helped with that. And even losing the last fight, like they were amazing with me for that. So
yeah. And now they're punishing you, putting you in ice baths.
Oh yeah. And Jack Shore made me go in the cold tub for 3 minutes. I just remember being upstairs in the gym. I just hear Brett Jones shouting my name. I thought this cannot be good. And then, that was funny. And then I was shamed on Instagram. And again, right, Christy, my fiance, she was like, "You won't even go out with me if the weather's cold, and you're going in an ice bath with it for them." She's like, "That's remembered." And I'm like,
"Mine did I?"
I won't go in the shower. See if the water's cold, I won't go in the shower. And she's like, "You've done that cold bath for 3 minutes." Oh, she's like, "I see where." Jack, sure that's you, and you do it, yeah. I'm
in the gym. I'm surrounded by the boys. I've kind of fucking got to. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I'm going to get bullied for the next week that I'm here.
That's going to go. I was like, peer pressure, you know. If they ask me to do it, I've
recovery.
Got to do it. 3 minutes, they tell me to do 30, I'm going to stay in it. And I was like, I know when my bread's buttered, and they can butter me, and you can't. So,
and you can walk the dog when it's cold. I'm no bothered.
Yeah, and she's like that. So, but then she's like, "You won't even go out with me when it's cold." I'm like, "Nah," but the house is cold. I'm like, "Get that heating on." She's like, "Nah, you went in the cold tub." But no, it's good vibes. Again, that's funny. Like, I wouldn't encourage it, but it was good. It's not even as hard as you think.
I wouldn't encourage it. Do you know who Stevie Way is in Scotland? He's
Yes.
yeah, right. So he was one of my Brazilian jiu-jitsu coaches. I've done some yoga work.
Nice.
I've done some breath work and stuff with him as well. And he is mad for a nice. Have you seen? He's like living that van life now. Dude's fucking deep into it all, bro. And he's incredible, mate. He's incredible. I love Stevie, man. I've got a lot of respect for him and a lot of time for him, like.
Same. No, that's resilience. And Jack Shore, I think, like, he done like 3 minutes and nice, like a cold shower for 60 days. Like, that's incredible. Like, just to have that. I know it sounds silly, but that mentality to do that, like, as I say, no joke, I won't step in the shower if it's not like boiling hot. I'll stand in the shower, it'll be burning my skin. I enjoy it.
Same, bro. Put a hand in, and I'm like, nope, fuck that.
I'm like, nah, room temperature, like, but even room temperature, but no, it's definitely. I think I don't know if there's science behind it, but it's definitely good for the brain. Set yourself a challenge, stick to the challenge. And do something not many people would do. I've done my 3 minutes, and that's me for the year.
Well, James Webb thinks about it in a way of get into it in the morning, and you're not going to face anything else as worse as that for the rest of your fucking day.
That's a good shout. I don't know what that says about me though, because I go in the hottest shower of all time. I do the opposite. I literally burn my skin.
Yeah.
And I come out red raw. Again, Christy's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "That's on far too hot. That's on far too hot. That's on far too high." She's like, "You're going to burst the shower?" I'm like, "No, I've got to get the hot showers in."
That's sound it. She's like, fucking gas bells going through the roof, and you're in there pumping the heat up like that. Jesus Christ!
Yeah. No,
just tell you're sweating it out. I'm just getting a homemade sauna in there. That's all I'm doing.
I'm acclimatizing myself to the hot bath. That's what.
Yeah. So I realized I just looked there, mate. We've been going for like 45 minutes there, and I know you're probably absolutely fucking goose. But I had a few other things that I wanted to talk to you about. One of them is like Eric's and how you met Rich, and just sponsored by Eric's gear as well.
Yeah,
how all that came about.
Not even sponsored, like technically not even sponsored, but I can't even remember how we met. But when we started talking, like I was a big fan of his clothes, and then ever since then we just kind of like had a great relationship. And yeah, I'm a big fan of Eric's gear. Like the quality's superb. I don't think there's a day go by that I don't wear a pair of shorts or t-shirts, but he doesn't sponsor me. It's just genuine love for the brand, and again, he's got a lot of time for me. And he supports me a lot, and I like to support the brand. I know a lot of people think he sponsors me, which is great. Like that's a great sign. Then he obviously
it shows a relationship, really, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, a great relationship. He supports me, and I love to support Eric. He's got an amazing company, amazing work ethic. And before the Kings of Crawford fight, he was like, "Would you fight in Eric's?" I was like, "Absolutely." And I was the first person to fight in those Cage Warriors yellow shorts. And then I told him, I was like, I love being different from everyone else. I love being the first. And then he made me these retro Scotland shorts. He's got a wee surprise for the next fight.
The glitch shorts are coming.
What, sorry?
The glitch shorts, is that what's coming along in the next one?
I've got Scotland custom shorts.
Nice, right?
They're not like retro or anything, but they're just very cool and very unique. And again, for him to do that, I'm always willing to support the brand. And again, he's put me in touch with good people, and I've got a lot of time for him and the brand.
I mean, shout out to Rich, help get this put together as well. Yeah, I mean, the guy's a legend, and I got introduced to him like just through a group chat on Instagram, maybe about I don't know, 6-7 months ago, man. But the guy is honestly been a legend. Like even just talking to me, giving me tips, giving ideas, and just chatting in general. You know what I mean? Like the dude's sound as anything.
Yeah, I think what's really, really cool, like I don't know if he want me saying this or not, but I think maybe I had a pair of shorts and then he was getting loads of orders from the town that I'm from. He's like, I'm going to send you more stuff. I was like, why? He's like, because I'm seeing orders coming in from I know it's you. Yeah. And I was like, all right, okay, like great. And then again, like I said, that just kind of sums him up. It doesn't need to do that. You could just set up like a code, like go sell this for me, or there's been a couple of things where I've passed by him and he's like, I don't think that's for you. And there's been companies that have got in touch with me to sponsor me, to be fair. I said, Eric's don't sponsor me, but through respect of our working relationship, I've said no, and I prefer to work with Richard and Eric's, and again, that's just a loyalty that I hold to him, and yeah, shout out to him. What a great guy.
Yeah, he's doing great things, man, and his new line's looking absolutely brilliant. You know what I mean? And
the glitch stuff is definitely the best yet. Like it looks
awesome. He messaged through to the group chat with the boys. He was like, "What's this designed after?" Did he tell you what it was designed after as well?
he did, but I can't remember now.
I think it was like if I don't know if
a
I don't know if you
UFC,
want me
yeah,
to
it was a
say.
UFC top. That's what made
No,
the
was
Eric's.
it? I don't think it was no, the Eric's one. That's why he started that.
Oh, that's why he
But
started.
the glitch one, I won't say it because I don't want to drop any of his little secrets.
No,
But
I think he did tell me, but
I'll
maybe
tell you
it's
after. But the glitch one of his inspiration for that one was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, a little
Oh.
throwback that was just pretty cool for him to like
We'll speak
take
about it
something
private,
from
otherwise
some.
he'll get sued.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Reece Mcewan, because
Yeah,
we
it
just got you
sounds.
sued, so that's
And obviously the other thing, your own brand that you've got is a Canatum coffee, mate. How did that one come about?
Yeah, I've got my own coffee business, so that came about during COVID, during the lockdown. One of my sponsors, Grant Roxton, was a digital marketing company called Boyd Digital. And again, cut a long story short, but he came up with the idea of like creating a business out with a fighting soul for something like the pandemic, or when I retire, that I've got something to fall back on, which is a very, very smart thing for him to come up with. But the core principle and the core foundation for it was to create a business to grow my brand as a fighter. From a marketing point of view, that maybe fighters or myself I would never thought of, but from a digital marketing point of view, it makes so much sense. Like as a sponsorship. So again, he helped me come up with some t-shirts during the pandemic because I just made my pro debut and I wasn't able to train. I wasn't even training. I wasn't able to fight, and I was like, I don't know, how does my career kind of progress from here? I was like, I've got nothing to boast about. Like I can't train, I can't keep the brand going. I said I've got no money, and he's like, let's do some t-shirts, make up some t-shirts, and keep like you've got an amazing support. So let's do some t-shirts, not for financial gain, and just to kind of keep the momentum of what you've done going. And okay, great. And he's like, right, that was great. We knew that would be a great response. Let's do another batch, different colour white t-shirts this time. Let's work with a company and provide, like, because it wasn't, I was literally selling it for the price I was buying the t-shirts for.
Yeah.
So, and he was like, and let's add something, let's work with a company and have an added value. He's like, something that everybody loves, like coffee. And he said, I said, oh, how do I do that? He said, well, we could get in touch with a local company or we could just make our own batch of coffee. Like, he said, I know coffee roasters, we can brand it, and then as well as t-shirts, you've got your own coffee. I was like, all right, okay, let's do that. And then that took us to the end of 2020. 50 bags of coffee sold within 2 days. People getting behind the brand. Another 50 sold out again in like a week. And then we were getting orders. So Grant set up the website, Grant set up an online, like, everything online for people to buy, and we were getting orders in of people that I didn't know who it was. And they said, this isn't just people supporting you, Reece, like, this coffee's, like, we obviously it was tried and tested. He was like, we pride ourselves on how it's high quality coffee, but the reason for the brand was support Reece Mcewan. Like, if you want to support him, this is how you can support him. You can't go watch his fights behind closed doors, so let's do this. And obviously loads of people were getting behind it, but then word of mouth was getting out, and it was like how good the coffee was. We only had one blend at the time, and then he was like, had a conversation about like, how serious do you want to take this? Do you want to just stop now?
Yeah.
Because essentially it served its purpose. Or do you want to start adding in more blends, adding in more bags, adding in food seasoning rubs, adding in merchandise? And I was like, oh no, let's keep this going, and create the company, put the company in my name, and Grant's been an amazing supporter in terms of that. Like, he runs all the everything that runs in the background. Essentially takes all the workload off me, and that runs in the background. And again, we pride ourselves on how good the coffee is. So that's kind of the story how it came about. And then now people are even coming up to me and being like, how's the coffee business going? And it runs in the background, like, as it does with Grant's it's not Grant's full-time job, it's not my full-time job. It never gets in the way of fights, it never gets in the way of training. That would not serve its purpose. I'm not a full-time business owner, but it does serve its purpose at the moment. And who knows, in 10, 15, 20 years, me and Grant could be doing that full-time post-fight.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
And you've seen a lot of
definitely. Oh, go on.
You've seen a lot of fighters like do that when they retire. They start coaching, they start setting up businesses. But I have a business degree, and I can't remember anything I done in the degree. But ultimately, it's smart to start that now, and it's not. There's no risk with it. Like, I enjoy doing business with Grant. I would see him every week anyway. we just speak about business. And again, when I do merchandise for fights, it's through the websites. I've got Colin Film on the merchandise and stuff, and I've got it on my banner, and I enjoy doing it. It's not time consuming. It's not doesn't take anything away from my career. It adds, which again was Grant's idea. And I've met a lot of nice people through the business as well. Through Grant's main job in Boy Digital, and also like through networking events. Like I've gained friends, I've gained sponsors from that. So again, it's been nothing but great for my career. And it's honestly very good coffee. We do food seasoning rubs as well, which I had to stop using because I was just using all the stock.
I'm gonna need to buy a bag of the coffee. Obviously, you messaged me the other week when you see me make that big ass cafetiere, and it was like one of those slow days where I was like, I need this today, man.
I'll get your bag sent out. Just send me the details now. I'll get you.
Are you sure? I'm happy to support and buy it, mate. I don't mind that at all. Like, but thank you very much. I appreciate it, bro.
I'll get your bag sent over for taking an hour of your time.
I've not took an hour of my time, mate. I've took an hour of your time. It was funny. There's no you message. It says before about messaging Rich. Richard Shore. And you're like, it must have been like the cringiest thing. You should like honestly see being a dude I'm just a random guy, mate. Set up a podcast, and I've just got a love for MMA. I love what you guys do. Like I've got so much respect for what you do, the training you go through, what you put your life through. Really, when you go in there, you put it all on the line for our entertainment. Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in the mindset. I'm interested in the perspectives that you've all got. I've learned so much. I've literally just hit a year of doing this, and I've learned so much in a year of what it means to you guys as individuals, what it means to your families, your perspectives and the way that you look at it. And I've learned so much from that too. And I'm just like, mate, I can't believe I get to sit down and, have these conversations with you. Like to start with, it was just a dream of I'd love to be speaking to these people, and now I'm getting to do it week to week basis, and I'm just like, this is incredible.
No, it's great. Like honestly, without like people like you or the podcasts and interviews, like I get to then watch other fighters and they become relatable. Even listening to like Dana White, and he says that like world champions aren't relatable to human beings, but they are. Like maybe not
because they are human beings.
But they're human beings, and you still got to wake up the next day and brush your teeth and wash your face and jump in a shower like everyone else. So you're a human being. When you break down everything away, like look at like Tom Aspinall was the nicest guy ever. Like, and he's like all these fighters, these sports, these athletes, these famous multi-millionaires, billionaires. Yeah, they might be different, but I always break that down. They still need to wake up tomorrow morning and brush your teeth. Yeah. Like everybody else, no matter how much money in the bank, no matter what, you should, if you're lucky enough to have toothbrush and toothpaste and stuff like, but you still got to put hot water. If you've got hot water, still got to wash your face. And I think that brings everything down to reality. So, like you said, like you give that, you're giving me that opportunity to speak, but more importantly, you're giving that opportunity for me to watch and listen to other people's lives, and it's interesting. And I'm glad that you're enjoying what you do.
Well, mate, loving it, but it doesn't take away the cringe factor sometimes when I've got to send a message like, oh, mate, really like it. I'd love to get you on the podcast. I mean? Like, I'm like a 33-year-old dad over there and I'm messaging dudes that are like younger than me asking if I can get them on the podcast for a conversation, but it's always good when it goes well.
Not at all. No, I think it's incredible, and a lot of fighters are very, very approachable and relatable, and I think like I'm not doing this for this purpose, but at the end of the day, this stuff like let's say marketing or podcasts and interviews, it's part of the game. Like that's why it's an entertainment business. It's prize fighting. You get paid to fight. You get paid to promote. You get paid to all these things that maybe it might be a burden, but that's ultimately what you do. The forefront of your life should be training, improving your craft, but you've got to market yourself, you've got to promote yourself, you've got to tell. I always think about Demetrius Johnson. He was the best fighter in the world, pound for pound best fighter in the world, but nobody knew him. And I was like, if only everybody knew him, but that's maybe not how he wants to go about it. Whereas McGregor, everybody knows Conor McGregor, and he made all the money in the world, he won all the titles in the world, and the reason why I say McGregor is because he backed it up. He backed everything he said he would do. He'd done everything. He's achieved everything you can in MMA. You've not only done one UFC world title, you've done two, and then you go and fight Floyd Mayweather.
Mad, isn't it? And now he's in Roadhouse, and he's like, it was funny. It was funny before because I thought about it when you mentioned something when you were talking about the mindset and making sure that you get these wins here and you get those wins there. I seen a clip of him yesterday saying, Like he was setting, oh, don't do this, and then he was doing it. Don't do that, and he was doing it. Don't do that, and he was doing. He was like, you're just setting yourself up defeat because you're losing. I thought that came to mind earlier.
Go eat this, like
Yeah.
that, and that's what made him so great. Like he obviously had the routine, he had this and he had that, and like for me, like that's why obviously his era was so good. And you even look at him now, like he's got all the businesses in the world and all the money in the world, and he still wants to go fight and compete and test himself. So it's a crazy old sport.
It is, mate. It is. It's fucking wild. So right, let's wrap this up, mate. Tomorrow we're launching this giveaway then, or what?
Yeah, I'll be giveaway on social media, so stay tuned. Will this be out by tomorrow? No.
Oh fuck! I'm gonna drop this on, mate. I'm not working tomorrow. I'm gonna sit here tonight and get this.
So drop the interview and then I'll drop
fine
the giveaway after.
Right, so I'll drop this at like fucking 8 in the morning.
I'll be up. I'll be up.
Yeah. You'll be on the mats, mate. You'll be on the mats. So no stress. You do what you've got to do and get your fucking training in, bro. But
on the mats at
everybody.
Night, and then when I'm out of the airport, I'll be like, right, let's get this ticket and these tickets out.
If you're wanting to win 2 tickets to go and see Reece fight, Cameron Nelson, his next fight in Glasgow, April 20th at the Braehead Arena. Check out the Instagram post tomorrow. Follow the steps, and you could be in with a chance of winning.
Stay tuned.
Boom. You're right, bro. Thank you very much for your time.
I appreciate it.
Catch you, no worries, mate. Adios. Take it easy, man.
Bye-bye.